Garden of Gethsemane, a place of solace and reflection, now shrouded in an air of impending doom, a place of peace, now heavy with dread. Jesus prayed fervently, his heart weighed down by the enormity of what lay ahead. His sweat, like drops of blood, fell to the ground, each drop a testament to the intense agony he felt. He knew what was coming: the betrayal, the suffering, the ultimate sacrifice, arrest, mockery, torture, death. The path ahead was clear, and it was filled with unimaginable pain. He could choose to escape. The thought must have crossed his mind, the temptation to avoid the suffering. He could choose to fight, to resist the forces that sought to bring him down. But to do so would mean abandoning his purpose, the very reason he came into the world. The weight of every sin pressed upon him, the collective burden of humanity's transgressions. He felt the pain of every heartbreak, every betrayal, every moment of suffering that had ever been and ever would be. Every ounce of suffering the world would ever know. It was all laid upon his shoulders, yet he didn't shrink back. He didn't falter in the face of such overwhelming despair. He didn't run, he chose us, he chose love, a love so profound it transcended the fear and the pain. If it is possible, let this cup pass from me. His plea, a moment of raw humanity, showing the depth of his struggle. Yet not as I will, but as you will. A surrender to a higher purpose, a commitment to the divine plan. The decision was made. In that moment, he embraced his destiny. Love would have its way, a love that would change the world forever. The garden's silence shattered. Torches flickered, casting ominous shadows. Judas the betrayer approached. A kiss, a signal. Soldiers surged forward, their hands rough on Jesus' garments. They bound him, the Prince of Peace, as a common criminal. He didn't resist. He didn't fight. He spoke little. His silence was not weakness, but strength. He knew that true power wasn't found in earthly might, but in obedience to God. The trial was a farce. False accusations flew. Jesus, the truth, stood silent. Pilate, the Roman governor, saw no fault in him, yet he bowed to the crowd's demands. "Don't you realize I have power over you? You would have no power over me if it were not given to you from above." Jesus, the King of Kings, submitted to an earthly ruler. He did this for us. He chose humility. He chose obedience. The hill of Calvary, a place of skulls, a place of death. It was here that the ultimate sacrifice was made, a sacrifice born out of pure, unselfish love. They nailed him to a cross. The pain was excruciating. Each hammer blow echoed the agony that he willingly endured for humanity. But more excruciating was the weight of our sin that he bore. The emotional and spiritual burden was far greater than the physical pain. He could have called down legions of angels. With a single word, he could have ended his suffering. He could have ended his suffering in an instant, but he didn't. He chose to stay, to endure, to fulfill his mission. He endured the mockery, the scorn, the unimaginable agony. The jeers of the crowd, the lashes of the whip, all were part of his sacrifice. Why? Because he loved us. His love was so profound, so encompassing, that he was willing to give everything. He loved us enough to die for us. His sacrifice was the ultimate act of love, a love that transcends time and space, a love that continues to inspire and save. The tomb was empty. Death had been defeated. The stone was rolled away, and the light of a new dawn streamed into the once dark and sombre place. It was a moment that changed everything. Jesus, our Saviour, was alive. The news spread like wildfire, igniting hearts with hope and joy. People who had been lost in sorrow found a new reason to rejoice. The resurrection wasn't just a historical event. It was a declaration that life triumphs over death, that hope is stronger than despair, and that love is the most powerful force in the universe. Love wins, hope conquers. In the face of adversity, we are reminded that we are never alone. The resurrection is a beacon of light, guiding us through the darkest times. Because of his sacrifice, we have forgiveness. We are given a chance to start anew, to leave behind our past mistakes and embrace a future filled with grace and mercy. We have life, we have hope, we have the assurance that no matter what challenges we face, we can overcome them with faith and love. His love has the power to transform us, to heal us, to make us new. It is a love that knows no bounds, a love that reaches into the deepest parts of our hearts and brings forth light and life. His sacrifice paves the path for us to reunite with God. It is a path of love, forgiveness, and hope. A path that leads us to a future filled with endless possibilities and boundless joy. Let us follow his example. Let us walk in his footsteps, embracing the love and grace that he has shown us. Let us be a light in the world, spreading hope and joy wherever we go. Let us choose love over power, forgiveness over anger, and hope over despair. In every moment, in every decision, let us reflect the love and grace that has been given to us. The victory has been won. Let us celebrate this triumph. Let us live in the light of his love, and let us share this incredible story with the world. For in his resurrection, we find our true purpose and our ultimate redemption. In the days following the resurrection, a miraculous and deeply emotional reunion took place. When Jesus appeared to his disciples, their hearts were filled with a mixture of shock, joy, and overwhelming love. They had seen him suffer. They had seen him die. And now he stood before them, alive, whole, and radiant. The room was filled with an indescribable sense of awe. Tears streamed down their faces as they embraced their Saviour, their friend. Jesus spoke to them, his words filled with compassion and wisdom. He reassured them, reminding them of the promises he had made. He showed them the wounds in his hands and side, tangible proof of his sacrifice and his victory over death. The disciples' faith was renewed, their spirits lifted. They were no longer the broken, fearful men who had scattered in the face of danger. They were now filled with a sense of purpose, a mission to spread the teachings of Jesus, to share the good news of his resurrection with the world. As they ventured out, they carried with them the message of hope, love, and redemption. They spoke of the miracles they had witnessed, the lessons they had learned, and the undying love of their Saviour. Their words touched hearts, changed lives, and inspired countless others to follow the path of faith and love. The resurrection was not just a moment in time, it was the beginning of a movement that would grow, flourish, and span generations. The teachings of Jesus spread like wildfire, igniting a passion for compassion, forgiveness, and love in the hearts of people everywhere. In the face of persecution, the disciples stood firm, their faith unwavering. They knew that the message they carried was more powerful than any force of darkness. It was a message that transcended time and space, a message that resonated with the deepest parts of the human soul. And so the teachings of Jesus spread, carried by those who had witnessed his resurrection, those who had felt his love, and those who believed in his promise. It was a message that continues to echo through the ages, reminding us of the power of faith, the strength of love, and the hope that is ever present. The reunion with his disciples was a testament to the unbreakable bond between Jesus and his followers, a bond forged through sacrifice, love, and unwavering faith. It was a moment that marked the beginning of a new era, an era of redemption, renewal, and boundless hope. Let us carry this message in our hearts. Let us be the bearers of his light, the spreaders of his teachings. Let us live each day with the knowledge that we are loved, forgiven, and redeemed. And let us share this incredible story with the world, so that all may know the power of his resurrection and the promise of his love. The reunion was not just a meeting of friends, it was the rekindling of a mission to bring light to the darkest places, to spread hope where there is despair, and to share the love that has the power to transform the world. Let us continue this mission, inspired by the resurrection and the reunion that followed, and let us be the vessels of his grace and love.